Welcome to Explore Africa series. Are you all glad to be here?
Yes.
So today we're going to be learning about African music and instruments. And as we usually do, we're going to have an introduction, objectives, a general history, timeline, quiz, and then we will conclude. So introduction. African music and instruments hold a rich tapestry of cultural expression reflecting the diversity, heritage, traditions of the continent. From rhythmic beats to unique instruments, African music has played a pivotal role in shaping the cultural identity of its people. So our objective is to explore the diversity and significance of traditional African music and instruments, to understand the cultural context and rituals associated with African musical traditions, and to examine the influence of African music on global music genres and contemporary expressions. So, rhythmic diversity. African music is characterized by diverse rhythms, often polyrhythmic, with multiple layers of percussion instruments, creating complex beats. So imagine you're listening to a group of people playing different drums at the same time, and each person is playing a different rhythm on their drum. But when you hear them all together, it makes a really cool and interesting sound. It's like each drum has its own special beat, and when you put them all together, it's called polyrhythmic. So it's not just one drum making a sound, but a bunch of drums playing their own beats at the same time, creating a complex and exciting rhythm. So that's what polyrhythmic means. And as you can see, our music is deeply intertwined with daily life. So it serves functional roles in rituals, ceremonies, and communication. And now we have traditional instruments. So as you can see, this instrument is called a balafon, and a balafon is like a xylophone. So African instruments vary widely, including drums, xylophones, string instruments, and wind instruments. The balafon is a type of xylophone with guards beneath the wooden keys, and it's common in West Africa. So picture this, a special musical instrument. It looks a bit like a xylophone, you know. Look at the one like on the right hand, the dark mahogany type colour. That's what a typical xylophone would look like. But xylophones that you know have different colours, don't they?
They have red.
So, yes, they have different colours. So, underneath that wood are the guards. So, on the left-hand side, you can see the guards, right? So, the guards are like small containers, okay? So, these are the guards. Yeah, that's a guard. This is what the front of the guard looks like, and this is the bottom of the guard. And this instrument is known as a balafon. So, these guards will be underneath this wooden xylophone. So now imagine that underneath each wooden key there's a little guard. It's like a small squash, right? And these guards, they create a unique and wonderful sound when you play the instrument. This special xylophone with guards beneath it is called a balafon, okay? And musicians in West Africa really like using this to make beautiful music. Vocal traditions. Singing plays a central role with vocal styles ranging from intricate harmonies to call and response patterns. Think of a call and response pattern like having a musical conversation. One person sings or says something, and then others respond with their own part. It's like taking turns in a fun singing game where everyone gets to join in and share their musical ideas. So vocal styles can be like singing a beautiful puzzle or having a friendly musical chat. Griots, traditional storytellers, use music to recount historical events and oral traditions. Imagine having a super cool storyteller in your town who doesn't just tell stories, but uses music to make them even more exciting. Well, that's what griots are like. These are special storytellers who tell the history of their people and share exciting stories about heroes and important events. But guess what? They don't just talk, they also use music to make the stories sound extra awesome. It's like having a musical adventure where you can listen to amazing tales with fantastic beats and rhythms. And then we have ceremonial significance, okay? So music is integral to ceremonies such as weddings, funerals, and rites of passage. Now, the drum that you can see on the left is called the djembe, and it's often used in ceremonies. The djembe drums can make all kinds of amazing sounds. It's a big drum, as you can see in the photo, with a wide top and a skinny bottom. And you play it by using your hands to hit the drum head. So this, guys, is the drum head, okay? The drum head is made of a special kind of skin that vibrates and creates amazing beats. Musicians in West Africa, where the djembe comes from, love playing it to make music for dancing, celebrations, and even storytelling. So the next time that you hear the energetic and lively beat of a drum, it just might be the fantastic sound of the djembe drum. So now we're going to look at global influence, okay? So African music has significantly influenced global genres, including jazz, blues, rock, and hip hop. The use of African rhythms and instruments has shaped the evolution of various musical styles. So if you think about this, let's say music is like a huge recipe with different ingredients. So let's say you're about to cook in the kitchen and you're about to make something. You need to put different things inside the pot in order to cook whatever it is you're going to cook. So African rhythms and instruments are like the spices that you put in your meal to give it the flavor that it has, right? And musicians from all over the world have taken inspiration from these musical instruments to create their own unique sound. And that is what we mean by African music having such a global influence. So saying that African rhythms and instruments have shaped the evolution of various musical styles is like acknowledging that these musical sounds, right, and instruments have been shared with musicians worldwide, adding to the musical diversity, which is enjoyable for everyone. So, you know, we owe a lot to African music, and in terms of its contributions to the world today. Technological adaptations. So modern African musicians embrace technology, blending traditional instruments with electronic elements. So a lot of African musicians, particularly the younger ones, use technology. I suppose it will be similar to you being in a kitchen and you having a lot of gadgets to help with whatever you're cooking. So that's what technology has done for a lot of African musicians. So these gadgets that they use are used to mix in electronic elements to their music. So it's a bit like when you add colourful sprinkles to your chocolate ice cream, right? So the use of technologies is like adding a sprinkling to your ice cream. Traditional African music is amazing and it's the foundation. However, technology now adds a touch of something new and sparkly, making the music extra fun and enjoyable to listen to. So this fusion creates unique and contemporary sounds that resonate globally. Because African musicians are using technology in their music, they incorporated it in their music, they now have a unique sound, and that unique sound is widely accepted across the globe. Diverse genres. African music encompasses a wide range of genres, from the upbeat high life of West Africa to the rhythmic patterns of South African township jazz. Each region in Africa has its distinct musical traditions and genres. So African music is like having a super cool playlist that includes all sorts of songs with their own special vibes. It's a bit like going on a musical adventure where you can listen to the upbeat tunes of high life from West Africa, and it makes you feel happy and ready to dance and to jive. And then you can switch it up to the rhythmic patterns of South African township jazz, which creates a smoothie and jazzy, more contemplative atmosphere that's also really enjoyable. So African music is like having a diverse and exciting playlist that takes you on a journey through different sounds and feelings. So who knows who this musician is on the left? Recognize her? That's Angelique Kidjo. She's from the Republic of Benin. She's a wonderful singer. Yes. Innovation in percussion. African percussion instruments like the talking drum are known for their versatility in mimicking tonal patterns in speech. Drumming traditions vary across regions, each contributing to the rich tapestry of African rhythms. So there's a super clever drum that can talk, right? A drum that can talk. This special drum is called the talking drum. And it's like having an awesome friend that can make all sorts of sounds, just like when you talk or mimic different voices. So African percussion instruments, especially the talking drum, are like having friends who can talk through their drums. They can make the drum go high or low, fast or slow. And it's a bit like having a drum language. What? It's not just about playing beats. It's like the drum is talking to you in its own musical way, making it one of the coolest instruments ever invented. Oral tradition. Many African communities rely on oral tradition, passing down musical knowledge and skills from one generation to the next. This ensures the continuity of unique musical styles and practices. So African communities share their musical experiences by talking and playing music. The older people in the community tell the younger ones about the beats, rhythms, and tunes, passing down the musical secrets from one generation to the next. It's a bit like a musical conversation between family members and friends, making sure that the awesome music keeps going on and on. Today, however, it's different, as there are so many mediums in which African communities share their musical experiences. Like, you can hear about African music on podcasts, on YouTube and other social media platforms, etc. Contemporary icons. So modern African musicians such as Fela Kuti from Nigeria or Miriam Makeba from South Africa have achieved international acclaim. Their contributions have helped bring African music to a global audience. So Fela was a musician from Nigeria who loved to play music that made people want to dance. His full name was Fela Anikulapo Kuti, but you can just call him Fela. Now, Fela didn't just make music to make people dance, he also sang about important things happening in the world. He used his music to talk about fairness, equality, and standing up for what's right. Fela's music was like a mix of funky beats and powerful messages, and his genre of music was Afrobeat, not to be confused with Afrobeats. Afrobeats has an S. Afrobeats is the more contemporary African music that's sort of sending shockwaves around the globe. Afrobeat. Fela was a bit like a musical superhero because he used his music to share big ideas that made people think. Even though he's not here anymore, people still listen to Fela's music and remember him as a phenomenal musician and activist who made awesome tunes with a message. And also mentioned on here is Miriam Makeba from South Africa. So Miriam was a fantastic singer from South Africa, and everyone just loved to hear her sing. Her full name was Miriam Makeba, but you can just call her Miriam. Miriam's voice was like a beautiful melody that could make you feel happy and sometimes a little bit emotional. She sang about important things like love, peace, and standing up for what's right. But what made Miriam extra special was that she also used her music to speak out against unfair things happening in the world, like when some people were treated unfairly because of the colour of their skin. Miriam was not just a singer, she was a bit like a superhero, a musical superhero, who used her songs to share love and important messages. Even though she's not here with us anymore, people still listen to Miriam's music and remember her as a wonderful human who made the world a better place with her beautiful voice. So, timeline. A brief recap of African music and instruments. So, ancient times. Traditional music and instruments integral to cultural practices. Colonial era. Influence of European instruments and musical styles. 20th century. Emergence of influential African musicians. It has global impact on various genres. Quiz. Question 1. Which African instrument is a xylophone with guards beneath the keys? A. Djembe. B. Balafon. C. Kora. Question 2. What is the role of griots in African music? A. Playing drums. B. Storytelling through music. C. Leading ceremonies. Question 3. How has African music influenced global genres? A. By avoiding global influences. B. By blending traditional sounds with electronic elements. C. By copying Western musical styles. Question 4. What is the significance of the talking drum in African percussion? A. It imitates tonal patterns and speech. B. It creates complex rhythms. C. It is used only in ceremonies. Question 5. Who is a renowned modern African musician known for his Afrobeat genre? A. Miriam Makeba. B. Fela Kuti. C. Ali Farka Toure. Answers. Okay, guys. All right, conclusion. 1. African music is a vibrant expression of cultural diversity featuring intricate rhythms, diverse instruments, and vocal traditions. 2. Music is deeply embedded in African cultural practices, serving essential roles in rituals, ceremonies, and daily life. 3.
To stop messing about.
African music has transcended borders, influencing and shaping global music genres, while contemporary artists continue to innovate, ensuring its legacy endures. So, thank you very much, and
We'll see you in the next African history video.